Welcome. Step quickly inside the boudoir and pull that heavy oak door shut behind you. Keep your voice down, too. For our journey through today's history, I'm not just your host. I'm your personal, highly observant Victorian lady's maid. And let me tell you, the things I see in this dressing room, they would absolutely scandalize polite society. We're diving deep into society's intense obsession with hair, which, believe it or not, was the ultimate undeniable symbol of status, beauty, and true femininity during this era. You see, back then, a woman's hair wasn't just hair. It was literally everything. I'm letting you peek behind the curtain today to see exactly what goes into crafting those famously massive, gravity-defying hairstyles you see the ladies parading around the parlor. The public, they only see the polished masterpiece. But as the maid, I know the absolute truth about what happens before the corset is even laced up. Section 1. The Crown of Femininity. Section 2. Secrets of the Boudoir. Now, to really grasp this era, you have to understand the first golden rule governing my mistress's life. Extreme lengths require extreme measures. A proper lady's hair had to be grown out to absolute extremes, and she couldn't just let it hang there, oh no. It had to be meticulously sculpted into these highly elaborate updos. Down in the drawing room, the gentlemen honestly believe these perfectly coiffed mountains of hair are completely natural. But the reality is way more constructed than they could ever imagine. Listen, even if a lady had the thickest, longest natural hair in all of London, it still wasn't enough. It was physically impossible to get those massive, perfectly rounded shapes high society demanded using only the hair growing out of her actual head. We needed reinforcements. And we call those reinforcements rats. Yes, you heard me right, rats. These are specialized hairpieces made entirely from a woman's own shed hair, and we use them to pad out and shape those elaborate updos. That perfectly voluminous silhouette you're admiring at the evening ball, it's actually constructed and stuffed using collected, dead, shed hair. It's the ultimate parlor trick. Let me walk you through my daily routine. Step 1. Every single morning and evening, as I run the heavy silver brush through my mistress's hair, I carefully collect every stray strand from the bristles. Step 2. I save them all in a special little receiver, matting and forming them together to create the rat. And finally, Step 3. I strategically place that rat right on her head and build the intricate updo completely over it, hiding the padding entirely from view. It is literal structural engineering right here at the vanity table. Now, there's a massive social boundary at play here. Think about the socially acceptable, elaborate, pinned updo required for any public outing, and compare that to wearing loose hair. Out in polite society, wearing loose hair was considered absolutely scandalous. It was a deeply private thing. Actually, the only people permitted to see a respectable lady's hair let down were her husband and, well, me, her maid. The only women you'd ever see flaunting loose hair in public were actresses and models who dared to do it for art or advertising. It was the absolute visual boundary between a proper lady and a bohemian. Section 3. The Price of Beauty. While I've been talking about the life of my wealthy mistress, we have to look at the stark, incredibly difficult reality for lower-class women. Your experience of this beauty standard completely depended on your social standing. For upper-class women, hair is the ultimate expression of beauty and a pure symbol of desire. But for the poor, these extreme expectations were a massive burden. Maintaining long hair was super impractical in deeply unhygienic living conditions. In fact, it was such a heavy burden that many poor women had no choice but to literally cut and sell their long hair for money just to survive. The exact same thing that made one woman a society darling was a literal commodity for survival for another. Section 4. The Perfect Silhouette. Despite that massive upstairs-downstairs divide, there was this universal societal expectation that bound all women together, no matter their station in life. Society had rules, and believe me, society was always watching. The strict, unyielding rules of Victorian grooming demanded that every woman's hair meet 3 baseline requirements. It had to be impeccably clean, it had to be brilliantly shiny, and above all, it had to be styled to maintain the perfect silhouette. No matter what class you belonged to, you were constantly judged against this standard to maintain the grand illusion of absolute perfection. And as a maid, my entire livelihood depended on ensuring that silhouette never, ever faltered. Which brings us to the end of our journey today. I want to break the historical illusion for just a second to ask you directly. Would you have followed these strict beauty standards? Knowing all about the hidden rats made of shed hair, the heavy social burdens, and the daily hours spent just brushing and pinning, would you really have the patience, or even the stomach, to survive these demanding rules of Victorian beauty? It's pretty fascinating to think about what we endure for the sake of the perfect silhouette. Keep that in mind the next time you brush your hair. Thanks for joining me on this look into the past, and keep exploring the hidden histories all around us.